the Americans have this concept of the founding fathers, and they'll always quote George Washington on something, or something that Abraham Lincoln said, or Alexander Hamilton, or Benjamin Franklin, or stuff like that. And we here in the United Kingdom don't have so much of that at all. We don't have a sort of founding fathers attitude to things. We don't quote, generally speaking, any of the past prime ministers or kings or queens in a kind of nationalistic sense. I think we should, actually. I think we should. And we at A Force for Good tend to do so. We've always quoted James VI, who we do see as a genuine founding father of the United Kingdom, the man, the Scots king who became the first king of Great Britain. He had a lot to say about Britain, and a lot of his stuff we've tried to bring out. Doing a bit of research on attitudes to foreign countries, and we found a really good quote from a previous prime minister called Henry Temple. And I wonder if I've got it to hand. Yes, I do. Let's stick up the picture of Henry Temple. That's him. Now, he was also called Lord Palmerston, and he was the British Prime Minister between 1855 to 1858, and again for another 6 years between 1859 and 1865. And he was also Foreign Secretary. And when he was Foreign Secretary in the House of Commons, now bear in mind, this is at the time of Britain's widest power in the world, at the height of the empire. When he was Foreign Secretary on the 1st of March, 1848, he said about Britain and its relations with other countries, he said, quote, "We have no eternal allies and we have no perpetual enemies. Our interests are eternal and perpetual, and those interests, it is our duty to follow." Okay. So I'm going to read that again. That was a good quote. And what he's basically saying is that we don't take sides. We look at the world out there and we say, how does this benefit Britain? You're not our ally. You're not our enemy either. But we do have interests, perpetual interests, eternal interests, and we follow those interests. He said, we have no eternal allies and we have no perpetual enemies. Our interests are eternal and perpetual, and those interests, it is our duty to follow. And that's from the man who steered Britain at the height of its empire, who steered Britain as Foreign Secretary, Lord Palmerston. He said that. And quite frankly, that's good enough for me. That's good enough for me. And that's good enough for A Force for Good's foreign policy. We're going to quote the founding father, Lord Palmerston, aka Henry Temple.